is Paige King Johnson with the legendary and one of my heroes, and now I'm glad to call a friend, Miss Pam Tillis, giving you all kinds of little nuggets of information, not only on the new Famous Enough music video that has just come out, but also just on our relationship and our past 3 years of a whirlwind of 3 years together. Pam, I know we probably have different stories, so I'll shoot it over to you. What was your whole take on how we kind of got together as a little duo and started working together?
As a power duo. Well, first of all, hey everybody. Hey Paige. Are you in North Carolina right now?
I am. I
Okay,
am.
good. I'm just in my little den.
Mm.
Well, it was through PCG. We got hooked up to that program, and it started out kind of a mentorship, and then all of a sudden there was a need for a new photo shoot, and I got to Paige let me step into some roles that I'd never been entrusted with before. And I'm like, okay.
Well, you were
Uh,
for yourself. Like, I mean, you've been your own
oh,
stylist
yeah.
for yourself for years.
Yeah. And I'm a clothes horse and I love fashion. And it was like, you want me to shop? Okay.
Right.
Anyway, we did a beautiful, I just think the photo shoot on you. I wish everybody could see all of it. So,
Yeah. I
yeah.
still to this day get compliments on the photos from that shoot.
Yeah, they're just beautiful. And we'll tie that into this video because we drove down to Columbia, Tennessee to do that.
Yeah.
And I'll catch you up on how that played out in this video. But yeah,
Yeah.
so
But
it
so
started
kind
out as a mentorship, and
right.
then at a certain point, um, I was talking to Bernard Porter, who you work with. He said, would you be interested in, you have a good eye. Would you be interested in um, co-directing a video? And I said, sure. And so I was in Washington State at the time, and I was supposed to be writing a treatment with the co-director. And I'm sure he'd be cool with me saying this. I'm not talking behind his back, but it seemed like you and I, Paige, were a lot more in sync
Right.
than he was with this, how the direction that you wanted to take it. We were very in sync. And so at a certain point, I'm just like, the clock is ticking. We got a deadline here.
Right.
I felt like, remember that uh, old children's story of the little red hen? And she couldn't find anybody to do stuff. So she just would go, everything that came up, she'd go, very well, then I'll do it myself. And,
Yeah.
and Paige, I don't know if I ever told you, but I was really a nervous wreck about it.
I mean, you have never done that before, ever. And you'd
I
been
never,
on my side of the camera as an artist, but you had never been a director.
yeah, never, and I'd never written the treatment. And I went, well, I can write a song, but there's just a lot to it. And what I quickly learned about myself, and you've learned this about me, is I have very grandiose visions. And I have, because all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can create this world. And then you have to always temper that with the practicalities of budget and time. And
Right. But I feel like it is fun for me as an artist. It was nice to have you because I had done music videos in the past, and it was nice to
wow,
have you as a director who has been in my shoes as not only an artist but a female artist, and getting those cues from directors. Sometimes they don't know how things read, to the camera on the other side, or how to portray those things and how to
yeah,
explain how to portray them. And for you to be somebody who has done photo shoots and has done video shoots for many years, it was super helpful because you could switch from being behind the camera to like standing right beside me and being like, well, if you do it like this and if you lift your head up like this, it looks a lot better.
mhm,
And that was
mhm.
helpful.
It's been fun. It's a challenge, and there again, the videos are expensive. The clock is always ticking. So what I really am happy about, Paige, is that you still talk to me, even though because so we'll be in some area. There's a lot of ambient noise, and we're playing the playback, and and I'm having to scream over the playback, and I'm like, tilt your head up to the left, and now look happy. And then it's like, okay, now serious, serious, serious. And all these, but yelling over this in real time. And you're like, you're cool as a cucumber. So you're fun to work with. You never take anything personal. And I'm not mean yelling. I'm just really like,
You're like,
okay, let's get the shot, you know?
yeah. No, and I appreciate that. And that was kind of okay. So moving into this last video that we did, Famous Enough,
Mm,
that was very much so the whole process of that. And we shot this, like you said, in Columbia, Tennessee. And on the second day that we were shooting was probably the more hectic day, I would say, wouldn't you? It was
right,
involving a lot more people and a lot of different locations. And the first location we were at was a restaurant. And so on top of just the regular shooting of
yeah,
everything, we also had like people getting served food behind
right,
us on the
yeah.
other side of the wall.
Wait staff coming in and out, with trays. And it was pretty crazy. But what I'm really have had fun, the fact that you've given me this opportunity to help me kind of get started in this has been so, I've been so grateful for that. And what I like about what we've done together is we've done 3 very different videos. And we even got you on, we got on CMT out of the box. Your first video for an unsigned artist, that's so big.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of reasons, they get slammed with a million videos every week. But the this one was fun because I'm proud of you in your new role as the agricultural ambassador in North Carolina. I think that's a really, I love gardening and farming and all that stuff too. And I've often thought how cool it would be to marry my love and respect for nature and all that and combine it with music. And you're getting to do what, that's really nice that you're getting that opportunity. So we chose a small town America. And I have friends in Colombia. So it's our second time to go there because, you know, when you're also trying to do things cost effectively, I've got just some great friends down there, and they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll help.
Right.
Just
You
and
use
these
our
are all.
house. You can come be at our house. You can.
Wasn't it amazing? People just threw their doors open, and they were so gracious to us. And so the photo shoot that we mentioned earlier, we shot it at a really cool place. It's the factory at Columbia, and it's this incredible warehouse of antiques. And now they have coffee shops and a shoemaker and artist cubby holes. Anyway, all kinds of neat things. But at the time, it was just all the antiques, and we set you up all in there. And my friend Daryl Lynn, that's his place. And this time we went back and Daryl played your daddy.
Yes.
Yeah, he's the bragging daddy.
And it was
And
so great to see like all your friends come together and
yeah, and I want to tell you about so the guy. So in let's see. So there's a baptism scene,
right.
and after that, after you get dunked, you see an old man hugging you, which it's your grandfather. We've hinted that's your grandfather, and he's dabbing a tear from his eye. I met him uh 3 years ago, flipping houses. So he's like a construction guy, and he's one of those old guys that knows a little bit about everything. And we stayed friends.
Right.
And he grew up in Colombia, and his wife. And so I called him up. I said, Bill, I'm looking for these locations, and I need these extras. And he's retired, and he's like, I'll do anything you need me to do, hon.
Great. He
It
found
was
us a
so.
real preacher to dunk me in the water.
No, my friend Lana Hines found the preacher. That's her preacher.
Okay.
And then, but Bill found the spot of the river.
Right.
And what's so cool about that? Once again, I'll brag on you. You're pretty game for most anything. And it's like, so the night before the shoot, I'm laying awake in bed. I could hardly sleep. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to ask this young artist to walk out into the middle of a river, the very first scene of the video. She's going to have, and I'm like, should I walk out there with him? Because we will, as I was a little nervous. I'm
The
like, I was
best
trying
part
to figure out
the
like
best
what kind of waiters you would need. I was like, what, how am I going to tell her daddy if she drowns? I was like,
The
what?
best part was you text me, and after all that, like, do you know how to swim? Are you comfortable with water? You go, Paige, are you Baptist or are you Methodist?
You're right.
Praise the
I
Lord,
need to
I am
make
a
sure
Baptist.
I need to make sure I wasn't offending your denomination or anything. So, and then my friend Lana, she has some other gal pals, and we went over to one of their houses, and the little girl that we
Yes.
drafted,
Yes.
she had twins, and we had two shots at getting one of these little girls to play young Paige because they were kind of funny. They weren't necessarily having it.
Well,
And
I think they were excited. They told us that they were excited, but they were a little
they
camera shy about it.
they got so excited that then they got overwhelmed and they shut
Right.
down a little bit. And we thought that the one of the gals seemed more gregarious, but then she decided, nope, this isn't for me.
Right.
So we went back with the other little girl. I'm having a senior moment. I'm terrible. And she's like, okay, I'll do it. And then and then the longer things took to set up and everything, she was starting to back out.
Right.
And I was getting really nervous because we had a makeup artist,
Right.
you, a 3-man crew, my social media guy, we got all these people. And it's really, it's the way we kind of start the video. It's the heart of it in a little way. It shows you it through the video shows you at 4 different ages,
Right.
starting with you as a little girl. And anyway, so she's sitting on the couch and she's being a little pill. And I'm like, what am I gonna do? This is gonna crumble.
I know.
And finally I looked at her and I went, hey, you like ice cream? And she goes, uh-huh. And I said, I do too. And I said, if we can get this done, we can go have ice cream afterwards. And she goes, it was like you just saw a little light come on, and it's like, you have a deal, Pam. She was like her business cap. She's
Right.
like, obviously, we just weren't giving her the business incentive
Right.
that we needed to.
We did not approach her in the right way.
No,
There
we
was no
didn't.
child labor in the making of this music video. All actors were paid in ice cream.
In ice cream. And so, and actually, I ended up taking out the whole family, which
Yeah.
was a lot of fun because they had this sweet little ice cream shop in downtown Columbia. But a cool thing too, and she's a little shy to get into it, but she listens to what is it, King and Country at church. And
Right.
so we really didn't have your song on playing because she didn't know your song, but we put on some King and Country and she was just getting down.
Oh, I know.
And we were able to use the footage, and that's really her bedroom. That's really their bedroom.
Right.
And
I was gonna say, I think that was a really cool thing. Our lighting guys, between our producer Josh Sakima, who's out of Los
thank you.
Angeles, and Seth
Mhm,
Christian, and
mhm.
the other guy who was there, I'm blanking on his name, but I will look at and put it at the bottom. They were an
Good,
amazing
good.
lighting team and camera crew,
Yeah.
and that was her bedroom that they did all
Yeah.
that lighting in and put all the fog in there and made it look so good.
It's
Um,
beautiful.
and I think
And
it helped the situation of making her feel more comfortable was because she was in her space singing her
yeah,
music,
yeah,
and you just kind of took away all the other elements.
yeah, it was beautiful. And then another so another funny thing that happened. So that was kind of a funny moment. And another funny thing that happened was so Bill, who played Bill,
Bill the crying grandpa.
that's right. Bill Lovely, who played the crying grandpa. He I went out there about a week earlier. I scouted all the locations. I'm very hands-on. I do it. I like to do everything. And so I went to Columbia and I was looking for just the right spots, and said, I'm going to need a future Paige and an older lady and a husband. We're going to put them on a porch swing. It's all very Americana and Mayberry, and it is, and it's sweet. And so he said, "Well, let's go by my friend's house." And we went by Frankie and Mitch's house, some people he's known for years and years and years. And Frank's farmer, it's a small, so we went to his small farm and we pulled up, and they don't know me from Adam. I'm very, when I'm, don't have on makeup and I got on a ball cap and my overalls, you might not suspect that a country music singer is it. So we pull up, and he had two kids swimming in a stock tank, and they were sitting out in lawn chairs, and we're just shooting the bull with them, and somehow I wanted to put you out in the field so you could be outstanding in your field. And Mitch starts talking. He says, "Yeah," he says, "them cows, they're so they'll come running, they'll follow you around like little, they're just
Little puppy
they're
dog.
just little puppy dogs." And I'm like, "Oh wow, this could be really good. We could get some good shots with this." So we went. So I left Columbia, and later on, Bill called me and he goes, "Frankie didn't think that was you." he's like, he's like, "You're pulling my leg. You're punking me. That's not Pam Tillis." He goes, "No, it really is."
Really is.
And he goes, so they were game. So we didn't use Mitch. We ended up using the gentleman who owned the house of the porch.
Right.
And then we used Frankie's wife because I thought it'd be neat to have. Usually it's the man serenading the woman in the porch swing, but I wanted you, the female,
Right.
to be singing to the old man in the bridge. Anyway, make a long story short, so we go out there the second day. No, that was the first day, and it's a skeleton crew. It's just you, me, and Josh.
Right.
And we go
We
over
were the
50.
hair and makeup crew. We were the lighting crew. We were the
Yeah,
everything.
we were doing everything. So it was Mitch and Frankie, and we get out there in the field with the cows, and the cows decided to be cantankerous.
Right.
And I offered them ice cream, and it's still no. It was like no. And we ended up basically chasing the cows all over the field, and then and the sun was dimming. We were running out of daylight, and in a last ditch effort, and I'm driving my Subaru all around the field, which, by the way, I woke up the next day with a flat tire. That's another story. But Mitch has some kind of just electric little
Electric
wire.
fence. Yeah.
Yeah, so he can kind of contain them in a small area. Anyway, it was just crazy, but we had a good time, and you serenaded the cows.
We were herding cows that day. We were, yeah, doing every single thing. But the
Yeah.
shot, I mean, like and I feel like this is the case with every single video that we've done together, and probably most creatives can say this, is that it didn't go how we thought it was going to go or how we planned for it to go, but the way it ended up turning out turned out 100% better as far as the location of where we were with the cows and the interactions with the cows and just everything that came along with it. And looking back at the scenes from, that
Mhm.
effort that we did, it's like,
Mhm.
gosh, yeah, that couldn't have turned out any better.
No, it's just fun, and there's always serendipity is so important. That those things that you don't plan on can sometimes be the thing that elevate the whole thing.
Right.
I do love. I think there is a reason to not to throw ageism into it, but it is really nice for me. I've been in front of the camera for 35 years,
Right.
and it's so nice to be on the other side. I'm not worried about, am I 10 pounds overweight? Just, should I have gotten a better haircut? Did I forget Botox? I'm not worried about all that stuff. I let it all, you worry about.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you look 10 pounds thinner. Anyway, no, it's just, there's a reason that actresses a lot of times do want to go into that other side of the camera.
Right.
'Cause it's just fun too, and it makes me wish that I could have it would be so great if you could see both sides, because I feel like I could have even done better if in some of my videos if somebody had been yelling at me. They were too nice.
So takeaway here for any young artists who are watching, have somebody like Pam direct your videos so they can yell at you and
Yeah,
coach
you
you.
need somebody to yell at you. No, no, but we have fun in between, and it's all chill.
We do. No, there were many lunches that were had and
Yeah,
car
yeah,
ride conversations that were had. And that's what I love about, getting to work with you. And I love seeing you grow as a producer between, from the first video that we did of Just Like You. And then it went to Baby Don't, and that was a completely different beast. And now going into
yes,
this
yeah,
one, which was kind of a more laid back feel, I felt like. And maybe it was just because we're starting to work together and we know kind of how this goes.
yeah,
And so
yeah.
it kind of became more of a feel good process that came along with it. But
It
um,
was in a lot of ways very relaxed, and also, now I've worked with Josh on
right,
5 videos, and the second time to work with the lighting director, and we've worked with Katrina yeah, 3 times, and
right,
yeah, she's great, Katrina Brooks, and
yeah.
yeah, we got a good little thing.
We've been kind of talking about the video side of all this, but I think it's very pertinent to mention, especially in Nashville being such a songwriting community, that I was not a writer on this song, but this was actually a song that you sent to me that you found
Mhm,
from dear friends of mine and yours, the writers of this song, which were Terry Joe Box and Kaylee Bishop and Scott
mhm.
Sean White. And I myself have written with Terry Joe and Scott together. We've written 2 or 3 songs together. Um, and it was kind of serendipitous that this song was sent to you by Terry Joe, that you and Terry Joe are friends. And you were the reason I was introduced to her. And now I've ended up cutting a song that was written by her. And you were the
Yeah,
you were the person that vouched for it for me.
I really thought it sounded like something, it hit me really well, and it sounded like, um, so the song had a lot of meaning for me because when I do mentor young artists, a lot of times I'll say, don't don't get wrapped all, it sounds cliche to say the journey
Right.
is as much, there's no guarantees in this business. So you just need to have the most fun you can have. Um, there's only so many slots, only so many people are going to be famous. They can't put everybody on you know what I mean? And you can have a really beautiful life in music without being Taylor Swift.
Absolutely.
You can have a beautiful life making music. It might not even be your primary, if you can make a living at it, that's you're winning. But anything that you use, you know, any way that you make music in your community and you share with people, anytime you can make people happy, you're winning. And that's really what the song's about. It's a person who, if it doesn't get any better than it is right now, it's you're blessed. You're blessed. Yeah. And I
And
love that.
I moved to Nashville 7 years ago, coming up this August, and
Mm,
I feel like it took me a good 5 or 6 years of being in Nashville and doing music.
mhm,
I'm by no means, know everything about it, but
mhm,
it took
mhm,
me that long to kind of come to that same exact realization. And so it was such a
mhm.
timely thing that this song, that you sent
Wow.
me this song, and that I ended up cutting this, because I went through this same exact, the whole chorus, rundown of the chorus. I went through all of those realizations
Yeah. Yeah.
probably, a year or two ago, and realizing that if I get to wake up every day and I get to call this my job, and I can keep the lights on and keep food on the table now, with
Yeah.
me and my husband,
Yeah.
like that's a win, you know.
And people are supportive around you, and
Right.
they love you just the way they are. They don't you don't have to be famous to make them happy.
Right. I feel like so
And
many artists move to Nashville thinking like, I have to be Taylor Swift, and I have to be Luke Bryan,
right,
and I
right.
have to be Miranda
Yeah.
Lambert. And
Yeah.
great if you are. We're rooting for
Yeah.
you all the way,
Right.
but there's so many
Yeah.
other people in between.
And it doesn't mean you're not taking your craft serious either.
Right.
Because you work very hard, and everything you do, you want to do, um, to the best of your ability. But Paige, when I had my biggest records on, you know, 90s, the 90s country artist that I am, is I if I didn't write it, I always made sure that I recorded something that felt like it was out of my diary.
Right.
And this song did seem like it really
Yeah.
fit you well.
100%. And, there's a lot of worth in, even if people aren't singers or artists or whatever, listening to
Mhm,
this song
mhm.
of, being an amazing mom or being an amazing sister or
Yeah,
brother or, whatever
yeah,
it is
yeah,
you're doing,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah. And in music, and in terms of music, heck, if you only, entertain your friends around a campfire, or sing at church, or sing at an old folks home, or sing to your kids, that's, to me, that's famous enough.
it is. And that's why this song is so special. And hopefully people that listen to it, gain that. Um,
Yeah,
it's a sense of pride and a sense of accomplishment.
yeah.
I hope that that does come from this song. So if you want to see what everything we're talking about, you can go to YouTube and look up "Famous Enough" by Paige King Johnson. You can see Miss Pam Tillis and all of her producer glories in there, and all these fun little things that we've been talking to you about. And if you find any fun things that you maybe want to know more about, just put it in the comments, and we can maybe do a part 2 of this if people have questions. But we appreciate y'all coming, and hopefully you enjoy Famous Enough.
Yeah.